The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moment Zero.
All right, everybody, we're back again. We're back again. We're back again. Hopefully, we have a little bit of staying power. I just checked my video output, and if you would like to see my video output, just look at your screen here. I'm a pixelated Koz here. So unfortunately, I can't do the live my beautiful face video. So we're just gonna
enjoy looking at you.
we're just gonna hang out with our graphic, which was made on kind of short notice. Our graphics guy is extremely busy, and he kind of put this together very, very quickly, and I got it this morning. And thank you very much. Our social media team is quite awesome. I am aware that I have an echo. I don't think it's too distracting. So here we are. I guess this is part two. It's like the bridge of 1 3/4 and into two.
Yes. yeah. We didn't even get to make it the break before the gremlins attacked us.
No, we waited like 45 minutes and then the gremlins attacked. So here we are on 9/11, 2020, 19 years after the fact. Over the past 45 minutes, we were discussing Infinity Wars and what started this. And I think we both agree, Pooky, that neither of us have answers. We have opinions. We've participated. Either I was a contractor, you were. I got out in '96. So
I served from 2004 to 2014. So I was in the peak of the surge and all that stuff. So
right, you were in
the fun stuff,
the big fun stuff, and then you got out because everything kind of was dying down a little bit after 2000. I don't know, 2010, 2011.
2011 is when everything kind of like started to die off for me, at least. I started getting more into like the technical side of things in the Army and learning how to work with my hands instead of big holes with toothpaste. So, you know what I mean.
So here we are 19 years later. Do you see an end to this, or do you see a modification to this? I think there's going to be a modification to this based on what President Trump said, pulling...
I think, well, okay, thing with Iraq, I'm going to get with this real quick. I know it's supposed to be like a September 11th kind of thing, but I guess this all ties into it. But the thing with Iraq was the mistake was back in, 2009, 10, when the previous administration decided to pull out a mass amount of troops just randomly, just like, boom, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
You were talking about it earlier. And that created a power vacuum.
Very much.
And
huge vacuum.
A massive power vacuum. And it's one of the things, I mean, if you look at it, we're still deployed to Germany after World War II. World War II ended, 1945?
Correct. And we're still in Korea. And Korea ended, yes. President Trump actually, he actually did sign an agreement to end the conflict. But no, there was like an armistice for forever.
I mean, technically, North and South Korea are still at war with each other.
It didn't.
That's like.
Maybe I'm wrong. Didn't President Trump get up there and when he crossed into North Korea?
That was a pivotal point. Like no president had ever set foot in North Korea.
Not even Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, that was a big thing. But that all kind of went to shit in the handbasket when old boy went to, I don't know if he's in a coma or dead now. I don't know what's going on with this. I know his sister ceded power just recently, so who knows?
I don't know. I wish
don't talk about the Hermit Nation. People, we don't hear anything about the Hermit Nation, so we don't know what's going on over there.
Yeah, I don't think even the people know. Actually, I do know that the people don't know what the hell's going on. They know what their government tells them. Here in the United States, people kind of rely on what mainstream spits out, and it takes a lot of.
Kind of the same thing then at that point if you think about it.
We're such a free nation. There is the ability to get the correct information, but when you come across the correct information, how do you know that it's correct unless you have firsthand knowledge? There's a lot of hearsay, and I know this guy who's very connected, and he says this. Or she says
or,
this.
Or people believe these fact checkers. That's another big thing that really agitates the heck out of me. Is like, oh, Snoop said this. It's like, who are they to tell you what's truth or not?
I always follow. I mean, who is like Snopes? Who is Snopes? And then
I thought it was like a dude that a guy with his like a hooker girlfriend that has a cat. I mean, excuse me, I'm not trying to slander anyone, but that's what I always thought it was. But
it's crazy. I posted on my Koz page. I posted two pictures. It was gosh, what did I do? It was a picture of, it was like a montage of random photos from 9/11 and then the recovery efforts, and then there was a picture of the people that were actually that were jumping off of one of the Twin Towers. They were committing suicide. They were head first.
One of the falling man. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned something. He didn't even try to flail his arms. He just accepted the fact that he was done to death.
God bless him, man. But that picture was actually flagged by. I got my pee whacked, but I posted two pictures. Yeah, by Facebook.
Why did Facebook? Okay, I'm highly confused about that. How is that against the community standards?
I don't know. No? I don't know. And I think all it stems from is someone complained about it, or several people must have. Not my picture. The thing is, I found it. I think it was on maybe Boone Cutler's page, and it was. It
got into the AI algorithm and
exactly
started popping everywhere. Yeah,
exactly.
I get what you're saying.
I tried because his was flagged. It wasn't removed. It was one of those pictures that it says a click if you want to see the picture. So I clicked to see the picture. I copied it. I altered it just a little bit to see if I could throw the AI off, and apparently AI is smarter than Koz, because they flagged mine too.
I don't know if you fall down the rabbit hole a lot on Facebook with the videos and stuff like that, but I've noticed that a lot of people who post like things that are quote unquote copyrighted or whatever it is what they do is they invert and then they put a little sound bit in the back, or they change the color off or change the tone of the voices or in the videos and stuff like that. Just the AI won't pick up on it.
Or if you change the pixels, if you change all of the pixels enough, it won't match.
Or that it's color based too. So if you throw it into a gray, black, white, gray scale, it'll throw it off too. Not giving anyone how to beat the Zuckerberg, but
we're not encouraging this, but that might be a good way how to do it. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is crazy times. I mean, these little fact checkers and decency moderators on Facebook and other. I haven't seen it personally in Twitter. I've been laying off Twitter. I get on Twitter maybe once a day. And
I stay off the Twitter. I mean, I only go on there to troll every now and then. But that's a toxic. It's not. I wouldn't say toxic. It's just an echo chamber, is what it is. That's what Twitter has turned into.
It kind of is, because I like to troll. I can take my medicine, so I know when I'm getting trolled. But I was trolled really, really well with people that know more. Because I like to give AOC a lot of shit, because I think she's a freaking, I think she's an intellectual. She's intellectually starved.
That's I will say she's a little bit younger than me, but that's like I always like when I'm talking with my grandfather, I say my generation is full of idiots. I say it all the time.
And he's like, "You're right."
Well, I mean, he's just like, he kind of chuckles. He's like, "Not all you're idiots, but yeah, some of you will look like a couple cents short of a nickel or something like that." But yeah, it's just, oh my god.
Okay, so you get your older generation, and even my parents are the same way. My mom is kind of liberal. My dad is extremely conservative. They see eye to eye. They have very similar opinions, but different ways of going about doing things. My mom, the liberal-ish ones. I don't want to call her a liberal because she's extremely conservative in certain ways. She's middle of the road.
She's an old school liberal. She's like what I picture liberal should be is I believe in Me, I'm a hardcore libertarian, so a lot of everyone thinks that I'm like my liberal friends think I'm a Republican or conservative, and
Yeah.
it flips around on the other side, and I'm like dead in the middle. I'm like, dudes, like
In
just
Texas,
hear me
in
out.
Texas, in Texas, they call them blue dog Democrats. It's like where you don't toe the party line. You sit and you listen to both sides, and you make decisions based upon your ideology. And that's what the Republicans do. They base their decisions based on their ideology or their beliefs. Now it's like if you have a difference of opinion, you're Satan, or you're a racist, or you're a xenophobe, or it's you go from 0 to 100 in whatever direction.
I saw a picture today. I was cruising around. You ever see that? Like, it's a political graph for the X, Y, Z axis.
Yes.
Where it says like authority in the left, authority in the right. Libertarian down at the middle. Well, it's up at the top. It says peaceful, whatever. Like sane people or whatever it is.
Sane.
Top left. And sane people at the top left, and then everything else is right wing extremists, pretty much according to the media. Is this the way pretty much they label everything anymore?
It's like if you disagree with someone, all of a sudden you're racist, or all of a sudden you're anti-female or anti-woman,
or some sort of phobia. You're phobic of something.
If you believe,
isms.
If you believe in, I believe this is me. This is Koz that believes that there's two fucking genders. If you got a dick, you're a man. If you don't have a dick, you're a woman.
Chromosomes genetically prove that. So
exactly.
Science,
I understand the confusion of okay, you feel like a female or you feel like a male. I get that.
It's called gender dysphoria.
Exactly, it's called gender dysphoria. That's my opinion. I'm not a doctor. I don't hate any of them. If you think that Pooky, if you came up to us in a staff meeting and says, dude, I'm shaving my beard and I'm putting on lipstick and this really fancy ass sundress, I'm not gonna hate you. I'm not gonna hate you. I'm gonna say, Pooky, you look really weird without a beard. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't care. I don't judge people like that. If I don't care. But all of a sudden
I don't care.
in today's society, I should have used me as an example. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to diss your beard. It has been trimmed. It is trimmed, though. It is looking good.
No, I did trim it up. I mean, I got sick of it. Started getting all like Gandalf the Grey looking, and I was like, I cannot do this anymore.
I was looking like you were looking on purpose. You were looking like I ought to give you the change in my pocket.
That worked out though. It kept people away from me.
It smells like Takis chips and stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
What were we talking about, man? Do you want to go to I don't know, maybe a story? We can do a story.
Yeah, we can do a story. Yeah, a story sounds good. Change the groove up a little bit, I guess.
I like having conversations. We do have a phone number. 415-889-8367 if you want to chime in. I see Holly Leanne's out there. She says, I hear an echo. And she's absolutely correct. I have it. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it, but
not to divert from our station and our broadcast, but she said that ABC 2020 is airing the story about Vanessa Gilliam right now.
Yeah, her. There is a story on excuse me, Vanessa Gilliam, that is on tonight.
Sorry, I pronounced her name wrong. I'm bad with names.
Okay, Ari says, what about effeminate men? They have dicks, but they act like women. I found that my girls, I have two daughters, and they went to school. I didn't notice any of this when I was going to high school. I graduated high school in 1987. My girls went to high school. My last one graduated in 2000. This is what, 2017. My youngest girl graduated high school. And I noticed I'm very involved in their education and their extracurriculars, team boosters. They were both in band, so I was I was the band parent, my ex-wife as well. I did notice more effeminate males in some of these groups. Not all of them, even on the football team. I don't know where that came from. I don't know when that became a thing, if that's a societal. I have no idea when that switch was flipped. Another one of those things. I don't know. I just don't know. I noticed it. I just don't know when it became a thing.
I got a friend of mine, hardcore conspiracy theorist that believes that that's
milk?
all caused by.
Are you going to say milk?
No, it's all caused. Well, milk is a tributary factor to it, but it's the soy that they've been using as fillers in food and feeding cattle and stuff and livestock. Pretty much, it's been causing that. Huh? But I don't believe it. I have no scientific proof behind it. I hear conspiracy theories all the time. People believe the world's flat still. So I mean,
I don't know, man. I eat a lot of edamame. I like that, and that's all that is soybeans.
Oh, I love it. I love this stuff. I love it.
I'm telling you, not you. Just I'm not. I don't feel any feminine. I don't feel feminine because of that. I don't know.
My thing's miso soup. I love miso soup.
I've never had.
You need to try it.
Not that I have not knowingly enjoyed miso soup. I'm a big fan of all food.
I buy miso soup packets all the time. I love it. It's great.
Guess who's trying miso soup next grocery shopping trip? I'll buy some packets and check it out. My daughter likes to eat those not soybeans, seaweed, little sheets of seaweed.
Oh, that's so good.
Dude,
yeah,
that is her snack. Christmas, I'll send her an entire case of that seaweed stuff, and that'll last her a little bit.
I'll be munching on that seaweed. It's delicious.
It is good. It is good. It's just weird. It's like green paper, salty, fishy green paper.
That's what a lot of people freak out about MSG. Monosodium glutamate. It's like bad for you, gives you headaches. As they call it the Chinese restaurant syndrome, which is it's all a placebo effect.
Okay.
But the MSG is actually an extract from seaweed.
I thought it was the salt, just another word of saying salt, or a way of saying salt.
Well, monosodium glutamate is not sodium chloride in a sense, but I mean the guy who kind of discovered MSG was like the guy who discovered the umami flavor. When I grew up, it used to be like what the flavors were like sour, spicy, whatever. There was 4 of them.
Okay.
And umami is the new one. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I wasn't watching a documentary on it. I didn't know this about like 6 months ago, so now it came in handy.
Yeah. That's called show material. Thank you, Pooky. It's I don't know. So what else can we get into? What can we get into trouble? Would you like to? There's a lot of stuff going on in Georgia, and you'll see later on in the there's a lot of Georgia references in the broadcast. Apparently, and I've when I was in AIT, I went to AIT at Fort Gordon.
Me too.
And
no,
we
well,
had
I'm around.
We had a break. It might have been a holiday break or some long weekend where we were allowed to leave. My AIT was 8 months long. So, you just go through your basic, first 3 or 4 weeks, and then it's like, okay, these guys are serious. And then you're treated as an adult, or you're treated like a soldier, and you do your bullshit, but you're allowed certain freedoms. So we went to Atlanta. A friend of mine had family in Atlanta, so we went to their house, and there was this like huge party, and their thing after pre-gaming. I'm going to say that in quotes, pre-gaming for a couple of hours was to get in their cars, and they would race in opposite directions around the loop that goes around Atlanta. And whoever the loser was got to buy the next case of freaking Busch Light or whatever we were drinking at the time. I didn't realize that was a thing until I read this story, and it doesn't mention that as a thing. Apparently, it's a thing. It definitely is a thing here in Dallas-Fort Worth. There's loops that go around both Dallas and Fort Worth, And it's like a thing to race around the city. How fast can you make it around the city of Fort Worth on Loop 820 or Loop 12? So,
crazy.
The name of this story this is my name. I called it "The Need for Speed." And this graphic is not in any way related to the story. But an Alpharetta, Georgia Department of Public Safety is urging motorists to slow down just a little bit after a police officer clocked a motorcycle going, how fast? 178 miles an hour on the Georgia 400 last Sunday. Can you imagine that? I've been on a motorcycle, 178 miles an hour. That is like very large testicles to do that, because you know
that you have zero track. Like you could run over a pencil and it wouldn't even move at that point.
You're on the extreme center piece of rubber. If you had wings, you would be airborne. It's crazy. I think the fastest I've been, I was in an Augusta 109 Power, and we were doing. I had my GPS pulled up at that time. We were doing like 164 miles an hour over the ground. I was in an Augusta 139, and we did 202 miles an hour over the ground. I could not imagine being on
that's helicopter.
Yeah, so those are helicopters. I'm a helicopter guy. So I'm thinking, imagine going 178 miles an hour on a motorcycle. That thing was just pegged out. So according to a post on the agency's Facebook page, this officer did not attempt to stop the driver of the sport bike. They called it the sport bike.
That was a smart move on officer. At that point, by the time he would have fired up his lights and got up on the road, started to try to catch speed,
there's no way he could have caught them. Because if they're doing 178 miles an hour, you have to do more than 178 miles an hour in order to catch them. So you're either you're more than likely going to find them wrapped around a tree or rear-ended into someone. What I'm thinking about is traffic. This person, I have no idea if it's male or female. Nobody knows. Highways, Georgia 400, it's not an empty highway. There's people driving on it on all times during the day. That like slices right through Atlanta and goes down to the southern suburbs. So there had to have been traffic. I run into this a lot here in Dallas. There's the crotch rocket drivers. Even some of the Harley guys will just like say screw it, and they will take advantage of the lack of splitting lanes laws. And they'll just, you're in this lane, the next person's in the next lane, and they go right down where the stripe is. Because there's a law saying if you're going faster than these people, you're allowed to split lanes. There's just no defined law. Some states have that in order to keep bikes from overheating, and I get that. But when you're doing 60, 70, 80 mile, whatever highway speed is, you should not be able to be legally split lanes. Anyway, the officer passed along the description of the motorcyclist. I don't know how he got a description to the authorities in the agencies that were farther south on the Georgia 400. He said, quote, "Hopefully the driver of the sports bike matures a little before tragedy happens." The Georgia State Patrol said in late April, tickets for speeding at 100 miles an hour or more were up nearly 66% statewide from last year. Troopers wrote 140 citations during a 2-week period, and that didn't include tickets that were issued by the local police. The same month, a different motorcyclist traveling 172 miles an hour on 400 was too fast to catch also. So I'm thinking that maybe this is a competition.
Yeah, this it sounds like that. I looked up where that's at.
Alpharetta.
That's a little north of Atlanta, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks like what they're doing is just running the strip there and just seeing how fast they can run it, like you were saying.
But you see that loop that goes around Atlanta. It goes all the way around, and then we cut across I-20 and then back into the loop. And it was like a contest. Who can make it back? One went the western route, and the other one went the eastern route. And whoever could make it back to the house first won. It was crazy. I'll never ever do it again. Even in my old experience. Now that I'm older and experienced, I wouldn't do that.
We've all done dumb things in our youth.
Bob Bulow, I've had an ambulance at 140. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Ari, he said once the nationwide lockdowns, and I experienced this myself, everyone kind of took advantage of the empty roads. Absolutely. That is the first time I saw that's the first time I saw a BMW M5.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were hauling balls. They ended up getting pulled over. I mean, because if there's room enough for people racing on the road, there's room for. We have a pretty good. Our sheriff's department, both in Dallas and Fort Worth, have really good air assets. So you're really. And I don't like to say you can't outrun a helicopter. Obviously, you can. You definitely can outrun a helicopter, but you can't outrun the radio.
Yeah. This brings me back. This whole story brings me back in Houston. I don't know if it was like last year sometime. A guy had one of them Dodge Demon Hellcats.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And he outran the police helicopter. He outran the news helicopter because he had to refuel.
I saw that helicopter. I saw that video. I did.
Yes. He turned himself in after that. I just wanted to see how fast the car would go. That's what he told the judge. Judge gave him community service for it. And don't do it again. He's like, all right, I have this fast car. I want to test it out.
There was a Bugatti Veyron that ended up going, as fast as they could go, and they ended up losing control and crashing in a drainage ditch.
I don't have pockets that deep be doing dumb stuff like that.
Well, as long as you have good enough insurance, sign the note, get really great insurance, and then test out your vehicle. If you crash it, you're covered.
That's crazy.
I don't know. I think I value life a lot more than you should see me, man. I drive like my parents drive worse than I do. I drive. I'm just like, I've got a place to be from A to B. When I get there, I get there in the morning. I leave at a respectable time. I should make it to work on time. Usually I arrive early. 10 times out of 10 I arrive early. There's that one outlier, like if there's a crash or something, then that will put me back. But that doesn't happen a lot. I'm fine with that. I don't have to get anywhere now. My daughter's like blind, she's landing at DFW airport at 3 o'clock. Okay, fine. I'm going to leave here at 2 o'clock. It's only like, we'll say 40 miles. It's 40 miles from my house. 40 miles in an hour. I should be able to get there in time. Not a problem. If I don't get there on time, that's great. She's still going to be there when I get there. I don't care. I don't have to get anywhere now. I don't need to drive fast. I don't feel the need to weave in and out of traffic and piss people off. I get there when I get there. Many more people other than me don't have that attitude when it comes to driving. It's almost like a personal affront if someone's going slow. And I don't drive slow in the fast lane. I'm over on the right, maybe the second or third lane from the right. I'm following traffic. But man, there's people that just want to, wherever they're going, they needed to be there yesterday. There's a lot of that going on. And it's one of the reasons why my parents don't want, they came down to visit me a year and a half ago, and it traumatized my mom. She's like, they actually left a day early because they wanted to avoid traffic. It was over a holiday weekend, and they got here. It was pretty bad when they came through the Dallas area to get to where I'm at. She was traumatized by the way that people drive here. And it's just another day it's another day at the office for me.
I've noticed that a lot of people drive different from depending on where they're from. Like the DC area, it's like insane the way people drive in the DC area. I used to think that Virginians and Maryland was the worst drivers on the planet.
Like aggressively, or they just
they're very well. No, it's not tailgating. I'll say it's a more offensive driving than it is defensive driving. Some places I've been, everyone kind of like going through like some parts of Texas. It's like you're coming down on a normal, riding lane or whatever it is, and you coming up behind someone, they'll actually get in the shoulder, let you pass, then they'll get back in the shoulder again. And
when I was at Fort Hood, it was like that because we would drive down to Austin a lot on 439, and it was, I don't know what it looks like now, but it was just a 2-lane highway, country road. If someone's coming up behind you, you kind of slow down and pull over onto the shoulder. Not pull over as in stop, but you slow down and get onto the shoulder so they have enough room to pass you. And that was a courtesy. Interstate, I think interstate driving is a little bit different.
It depends on where you're at. It really does depend. Like Atlanta's just crazy. I think DC area is probably the worst I've experienced. But like Florida in general, I don't know what's going on. You've got all, I guess, the retirees. Then you've got all the meth heads driving around, and then you got all the, just everyone just trying to get from point A to point B. So you get like tweakers everywhere, old people driving. It's just nuts. I mean, I think Floridians are the worst drivers in the United States, from my experience.
Are you saying that because of age, or because the age of Floridians is older than the average?
No, I'm saying it mostly because of such a mix, right? Because you got there's the local Floridians that live there. From, they're young, middle age, whatever. They've lived there their whole lives. Then you get like the snowbirds, especially during like October time frame, right after hurricane season, all snowbirds.
Gotcha.
But no, I mean, October is the worst time to drive in Florida because people from Canada, like Canadians are just really passive drivers, but they get in your way. That's just from what I've noticed.
Talk to me, Goose. I just opened up the unified chat, which kind of brings all the chats into one area.
Ooh.
I apologize. I didn't have that open after we restarted. So if you're chatting from any of our platforms, drop a message.
I've been trying to keep an eye on it,
Try to keep an eye on the main page because I can't pull up the main page for some reason. So, are you a speed demon? I mean, do you like to drive fast? What's the fastest?
Well, I don't drive anymore because of my head injury and stuff like that. And,
I forgot about that. We talked about this before.
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. But when I drive with certain people, I turn into the worst. I'm your worst backseat driver or side driver, shotgun driver. I look at I'm TC. I'm charged to this vehicle. Listen to everything I say. But no. I don't do that anymore. I prefer when I'll take an Uber and it's nice and calm, and that's the way I like to do it. And so
I prefer, and this is me. I've been in a couple of car accidents. One of my injuries, the reason why I'm collecting disabilities, is due to a driver, my designated driver. He wasn't intoxicated. He decided to take a nap on the drive home, and he was the guy driving the car. So I was injured. His girlfriend was killed, and the other folks in the car he was fucked up. We were all fucked up.
That's rough.
So I'm very in tune with driving and the skill of driving, and not to mean that if I'm driving with you and I freak out that you're unskilled. It's just it disagrees with whatever the fuck is in my head. So I prefer, and I've done this before, even at work. It's like, hey, everyone, let's go to Torchy's Tacos for lunch. I'm like, okay, I'll drive. And they're like, no, man, it's okay. I've got a van. I'm like, I want to be in control of this trip. So yeah, I'm very much need to be in control. So yeah, I prefer to drive. I want to be the person in control of the machine. I even get when I fly with other pilots. It's just I don't like to have anybody else in control of my life. Give it to me. I mean, I can't fly. I can fly. I'm just not licensed. But I don't like to not be in control of things. If that makes any sense. I really believe that makes sense.
Control of your own destiny. It makes
exactly.
sense.
I was trying to say that without feeling, without saying it, and just make it sound like that, the destiny thing. I don't want to sound like anything. It's just how I feel. It's crazy. I mean, you can drive in here. Posted speed limits. They raised the speed limits here in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. If you go west of Weatherford, Texas, which is just a little bit west of Fort Worth, you're at 80 miles an hour. It's a posted speed limit of 80. Right now, what used to be, I've been in the Dallas-Fort Worth area since I got out in 1996. Speed limit on Interstate 20 between Fort Worth and Arlington used to be 55 miles an hour. Then it turned to 60 and then 65. And now it's actually posted at 70 miles an hour, even where the malls are and stuff. So, you know, our speeds are increasing. I don't know if the accidents are increasing or decreasing. I don't have any personal knowledge of that. I do see a lot of accidents, or I hear of a lot of accidents. Rush hour always sucks. I think it's that way anywhere you go, even where Holly lives.
I say DC's rush hour was horrible. I was stationed at Fort Belvoir for a while. I lived about, I don't know, maybe 10 miles away. Yeah. And I got off at 1700, normal time to get off. I didn't get home to almost 2000. 10 miles away.
No way.
That's how bad the traffic was. It gets horrible sometimes. Well, they finally fixed that part of Route 1. Now I think they opened it up. It used to be just single lane, and now it's a 2-lane. But it was pretty bad there for a while.
There was a study. I read this about people and the reason why they quit their jobs. And it was actually a very small percentage of people that quit their jobs because they hate their boss or they didn't like their work environment. A lot of people quit their jobs because they don't like the commute. The commute was just horrible. I could not imagine living in California and spending hours. I live 21 miles away from work, and it might take me at the most, on a bad day, 30 minutes.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. It's very acceptable. I dropped your name, Holly. She says Nashville traffic is the worst. I agree. Because if you have to go through Nashville to get to Murfreesboro. I dated a girl from Murfreesboro. So bad. Yeah, I couldn't. If my job moved somewhere like in a DC type of area or somewhere in California, if it's a chore, if it is an added task to get to work, I'm not going to work for you. And that's my personal opinion. It's got to
in the DC area, I figured the whole metro thing out. That made my life so much easier. Once you figure out how to actually use the public transit, life gets so. You park your parking vehicle at the parking garage, and you get into town. That's it. And then you can get around everywhere the rest of the day. If you need to get somewhere real quick, you Uber. Like boom, boom. No, but everything else is. I mean, even though the DC Metro is like, every time you get on a damn thing, you're afraid it's going to blow up on you.
I was talking to a user. I have no idea who this person is, but they're in New York, in the New York area, in the city. And they don't have a current driver license. They don't need one. And they were considering relocating to the Midwest for family reasons. And they were basically concerned about having to drive every day. It stressed them out. They've been taking transportation for however long.
I got a kid like that come in the Army back in the day. I was like, you ain't got a driver's license? Like, no, I lived in New York City. I never needed a driver's license. I could just jump the bus, grab a train, whatever. And I was like, okay.
Tina, I was always wondering about Hawaii. She says H1 was pretty bad in Oahu. I was wondering, really, how bad can traffic be on an island where you You don't have entire access to the entire island. You got like a circle that you drive. It's like a big. It's a big loop.
Baton Rouge is a bad place. I will agree with you, Heath. I will definitely. Baton Rouge is a bad drive. I made that mistake one time coming across, and I think I made a wrong turn, and next thing you know, it's just, oh God, no, never.
Well, Bob was also talking about Seoul. I've driven in Seoul before, and that wasn't. It wasn't as bad. It wasn't bad. That was, when was I in Korea? I was in Korea 92. Okay, 88, 91. It was like 90, 91. And it wasn't horrible. It was packed, and it was more, there was more, the courtesy on the road was, if you got a bigger vehicle, you've got the right of way. And then if you're on the back roads, just avoid the little one-eyed buffaloes. And then there was that, if you hit and kill them or disable them in any way, then Korean law says that you are responsible to compensate them and their family for any financial losses because that person can't work. I have no idea if that's true, but that's just the urban legend that was out there.
Never been to Korea, but I've heard stories about it.
Along with the black VD, they put you on an island and you can't come back to the United States.
Oh, I've heard that. I've heard that one. Black syphilis or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I have no idea. So, goats are assholes, apparently. I have no personal... I like goats. I really like goat videos. Actually, me and Spanky, the baby goat videos and stuff, the little goats, you're just like really happy, and they throwing up their little hooves and whatnot. I like that. That's cute to me. And boy, I gotta. There's that picture. Send that over there. A curious goat hopped into a Georgia police officer's patrol car last week to munch on some documents, spill a drink, and eventually headbutt a cop to the ground. And it was all captured on body cam video. Oh gosh, can I do this? I've got this split screen going on here. There's the video. Oh, that's not the video. Oh my gosh. All right, Pooky, I got you. Anyway, I've got a video somewhere of this goat just kicking this cop's butt. Let's see if I can pull that up. The Douglas County Sheriff's Office shared a Facebook video. And according to the Post, an on-duty sheriff's deputy who remains unidentified was serving civil papers at the time of the encounter, which is really cool because they that particular officer was, got out of her car. She walked up to the house, knocked on the door, and it was just like a regular encounter. I think her camera was very dirty and it needed to be cleaned. But, where is it? Oh, come on. Where's my goat video? I lost the goat video. Damn it. Let me just read the rest of this fucking story. She left her car door open, and moments later, a new and very uninvited passenger had arrived. Due to the number of houses the deputy visits daily, she routinely leaves her vehicle door open because she has to, at some points, retreat on the occasions of like vicious dogs or whatnot. Never once did she expect to consider what was about to happen that day. As the deputy knocks on the house door, she is heard saying, "I hope that goat doesn't get in my car." Seconds after, she laughs. She says, "Oh shit." It says expletive, but I know what she says because I've seen the video. She said,
famous last words.
She says, "Oh shit." And then she walks back to her car. She tries to nudge the goat out and then is seen struggling with the goat. And the goat obviously has papers in his mouth. When the furry creature finally exits the vehicle, leaving chewed up documents and a beverage that can no longer be contained in the cup holder, it knocks her to the ground with its head. It butted her. The deputy was very uninjured. So, gosh, I really want to show this video. I have no idea what happened to it. So,
Goats can be assholes. I will say that.
They're very temperamental, extremely temperamental. Goat versus cop video. There it is. Here it's the video. That's not just my camera, it's the video. I can't show video. This pisses me off.
Yeah, it really does look like 1990s squiggle vision late night.
Well, crap. I apologize that I am not able to share y'all this video. That sucks. That was a good video. That was a really good video because that was actually her dash cam with unedited audio. Okay, one thing that I do not need in any way. I have no video for this, and that's okay because I've got pictures. Okay. The name Karen. Apparently someone has studied this. The name Karen is losing popularity. Everybody knows why. Hence, the top picture on that is that first Karen that I know of that called the police because somebody looked illegal. I think her phone call was, "I see a Mexican man. He looks illegal." And she
that's not what it was.
That's not her.
No, the one at the very top on the cell phone was she called on a black family barbecuing in a public park. Huh?
Oh my gosh! I thought she was the one that called on people that they look illegal. Oh, my mistake. No. My mistake. So she
beamed herself.
Oh, she very much did. So you have children? You don't have children?
No, I don't. I do not.
So if you were to have a children, let's say you were going to have a daughter, a very beautiful young daughter, Pooky, what would you name her? Do you have a favorite name or maybe a name in the pouch there that you're going to pull out or at some point? Do you have a favorite name?
Well, I wouldn't even know at that point. This is something I've never really even sat down and thought about. You know, I like the name, I don't know, like Freya or something like that. But other than that, no.
When my wife was pregnant with my first daughter, we talked about names, and one of the names that came out, she goes, "Oh, I want to name her Anastasia." I'm like, okay, I get that, but that was like, I mean, I don't want her to be a Disney character, and my ex-wife at the time was extremely addicted to Disney. I mean, she would probably put Minx up for a pretty reasonable fight as far as Disney knowledge.
Disney nerd.
She's a Disney fan forever. Star Wars, she's really into Star Wars. I think she might give Ice a run for his money as far as knowledge. Lord of the Rings, she's really into the Lord of the Rings. Like reading the books and knowing like maps and crap. But she said Anastasia for our first child, and we had a discussion. And I say it was a discussion. I'm like, my only argument was I don't want my daughter to be a Disney character. And we named her Anne Marie. Great. But apparently, the name Karen.
Everybody. Trending for a while. It was trending for a while the last couple of years back. Huh?
It was trending for the wrong reason, though. Ever since this Karen incident, I don't even know what the first one was. I thought this woman was the first one. Apparently not. But in baby name news, it comes as no surprise to pop culture enthusiasts that the name Karen is plunging in popularity, according to the U.S. According to the Social Security Administration, fan favorites like Olivia, Emma, Ava, Sophia, and Isabella continue to reign supreme on the girl list. Let me see. I have got a niece, Emma. I've got a niece, Isabella. So, yeah, I would agree. Karen continued to tumble, falling from 637th most popular name for girls in 2018 to 660th place last year in 2019, down even further from 557th place in 2017. According to the Social Security Administration data on the name's popularity through the last 113 years, Karen's 2019 rank marked its lowest standing since 1930.
Way to go, Karen.
Way to go, Karen. The name Karen reached its peak of popularity in 1965. Karen now is a pejorative term, which often refers to or describes a white, usually middle-aged woman thought to be acting entitled or exercising privilege. It began trending in recent months after it had been previously emerged as a disparaging term for such women following the infamous Central Park Karen incident, among other headlines. The Central Park one was, it was a mask. That was a mask. Central Park Karen?
Oh, is that she came up to the dude, just totally ignored social distancing and started saying, put your mask on, put your mask on.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a really big fan of people that just mind their own fucking business. That's why I like where I live.
That's perfect. It sounds like a perfect society where everyone's, you ain't hurting no one. I don't give a crap.
There was a case here locally where there was a woman, and it was a female. I'm not just saying that out there. She was macing people without masks that were walking in one of the parks in Dallas. She had mace.
Wait. This happened in Texas.
In Texas, in Dallas.
And she didn't get shot. Huh?
And she didn't get, well, no.
Oh.
I'm surprised as well. Everybody packs here. I pack here. And I don't go to dangerous places and I pack.
I don't understand. I really don't, like, what gets a person to the point where they got to go and do stuff like that, though? That makes my brain cannot. The gears in my brain, I guess, aren't geared properly to understand that. Though. You're not wearing a mask. I don't give a crap. Stay away from me. Simple as that.
What I don't get is you're not wearing a mask because you're walking or exercising or biking in a park and you're not standing near anybody doing anything. And she's out there macing people that are not wearing masks.
Well, she's lucky that she didn't get like freaking like German suplexed in the middle of the park. You know, just like, I mean, I don't know. It just blows my mind.
There's not a lot of tolerance. I think the reason it became news is because someone reported it to the news or reported it to the police of someone doing this. Had it been any 10 other people, she would probably have been in the hospital. We don't take shit. You don't get in people's faces like that. If you're minding your own business, especially in a park. You're away. When people exercise and they jog and they run, you're not hanging out in groups. You're never within 6 feet of anybody. What is she out there walking her Pomeranian and now she wants to be the arbiter of justice?
Or that's like homeowners association.
Yeah.
I call them HOA Nazis. They walk around. There's this little. I'm fitting the perfect Karen right here, but you know, probably like just retired, got nothing better to do, walking their dog, and they're just writing up reports and fines for everyone. Oh, you're Bush. They even made a what was it commercial about it. I don't know if you've seen the commercial. Dude's like sitting there and she's like, oh, your mailbox 2 inches too high. And takes a chainsaw and chops the whole mailbox down. You know, this is like I don't. I guess people have nothing better to do than just to go around and.
It's just. I mean, Karen is such. It has a ring to it. Like, God, come on, Karen. Yeah.
Everyone talks about Karens, but no one ever talks. I don't know if you remember the meme going around about Kyle for a while.
Oh yeah, Kyle, the guy that punches holes in drywall.
Holes. Yeah, okay.
And drinks Monsters and.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but he shot a motherfucker in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So he kind of recovered the name for Kyle.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
There's a lot, and I've talked with some fans, and it's very convincing. Okay, he what you're hearing on the news is not true because, and this is where it falls off, is because it's not that they were there. It's like their friends were there, or their friends said, or their friends had a friend who said, and then
that's the whole video. The whole video is on the internet if you watch that.
From beginning to end, because it goes from the gas station all the way through where 3 people get screwed up and two people lost their lives.
Yes, two. Well, I mean, 2 people. I'll say one was a pedophile and the other one was a habitual wife beater, I believe. But,
right, which is beside the point. That's just like kind of an ancillary thing. They were just in this guy's face. He protected himself, and boom, a person who happened to be a pedophile is dead. And then he shot another guy. The guy that got shot in the heart, did he die?
Yeah, the guy that got shot in the heart. The guy that got, well, I guess he got grazed in the head, but I don't think
the guy who he's like a T-Rex now, or half a T-Rex.
Oh no, the guy, the pistol guy, the guy who pulled.
Yes.
He pulled the pistol out on his dude. Okay.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have had a pistol. But it's all, those are all other facts. But this is, he protected himself, shot this guy. Dude, that was. I had just when that happened, I had just gotten done with watching iZombie. Have you ever watched iZombie?
I've seen some things on
Owl talked me into watching iZombie. He's like, really? It's a no stress thing. Just chill out. You can watch iZombie. I tried to watch the first episode of the first season, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever freaking seen. And then it sat and it stewed for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I'm like, I really need something else to watch because I don't have broadcast television. I'm not going to watch anything like that. So I started watching iZombie again. I rewatched the first episode, and it's fantastic. It really is. If you ever have a chance to watch iZombie, I highly recommend it. Stick with the first episode or second episode. It really gets better. There's like 6 seasons of this damn thing. Anyway, this guy gets shot in the arm here in this video that we're talking about that happened a couple of weeks ago, and there was very little blood in that video. So there's a thing is how to identify zombies is when you shoot them, they don't bleed very much. I'm like, this guy's a zombie. That was a long story. I think I got to the point though.
It's just, I mean, the way the media is smearing that kid, it just blows my mind. Like the fact that they're not going to even, I mean, if it makes it to case, I mean, they're already charged him and everything, but once the case starts up, I wouldn't be surprised if the judge throws a mistrial because of all the disinformation about it at that point.
Or the point, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if he can get a fair trial anywhere. I think that he was protecting himself. So as far as the guy that he shot in the arm and the 2 people that died, I think he's in the clear. I think what he is guilty of is being a minor in possession of a firearm.
Minor in possession, but it depends on the state. I mean, I was walking around at the age of 12 with a semi-automatic. He was
in Wisconsin. The age of consent, is that right? The age that you're allowed to own an AR-15 in the state of Wisconsin is 18. The age of consent, I say that in quotes. I have no idea what the legal age to own an AR-15 in Illinois is the age 21. So, and he's 17.
So you can't. Illinois got some really strict.
Illinois is 21. Wisconsin is 18, and this guy.
Like, what kind of state makes long rifles illegal until you're 21? But okay,
but it's. And I'm going to say that assault. It's an assault weapon.
Oh, okay. It has the assault.
Yeah, because it's black and scary.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you think? Okay, let's say that you are from Germany and you come to the United States. You have a list of expectations. But then you come to the United States and you go to, and you know what's crazy is foreign visitors to the United States, they come to, when I was in Korea, a lot of the Korean nationals thought that Texas was nothing but people who owned horses. Everyone was a cowboy. And that
it's all desert. A lot of Americans think that sometimes when they go to Texas.
Yeah, like there's nothing but tumbleweeds.
Yes.
So a question was posted online. I have no idea where this came from, but a question was posted online for foreign visitors to the United States. What is the most surprising thing? What surprised you the most when you came to the United States? So there's a little bit of a list.
I kind of skimmed the list, but not really good. But I think the number one would be, and I hear it all the time on Reddit and all the kind of things, is what's up with the toilet stalls?
The what?
The toilet stalls are so high in the States. You go anywhere overseas, you get a little privacy, but in the States, I mean, if you look, just glance just a little bit with the corner of your eye, you can see the people's kneecaps dang near. You know.
Okay.
I know that's one of them. I guarantee that's one of them.
Okay, when I was in Korea, I do remember that the stalls it was like a door. It was more like a door, but there was a hole in the freaking ground. It looked like a urinal that you lay down. You know, so you just and that's where the kimchi squat came.
Yeah. I saw that I saw that in Iraq actually in a porta-john. I went into the porta-john. I was like, what's going on here? It's got these weird foot stall things going on.
I didn't have that experience there. I had the regular.
It wasn't in Iraq. It was in Kuwait. I remember we were doing our that 2 week kind of like before you actually go in country.
Yeah, your ramp up.
Yeah. One of the porta johns, I guess it was for like the TCN's working or whatever it is. It's like, man, I gotta piss real bad, you know. And I went into it and I was like, what the hell is this shit?
How do I use this? And that was the same thing I thought when I was drunk in a club at Camp Humphreys, Korea, is how do I use this bathroom? I had no idea. But it's amazing. It's not. This list is not what I expected, because there's some very thoughtful responses. So a lot of non-Americans who had visited the United States of America, they were asked what surprised you the most. What gave you the most interesting reaction? Portion sizes when you order food. Quote, I thought it was just a joke in movies. Your smalls are bigger than our larges, and your large sodas are bigger than my head.
That's totally true. 100%. I saw a YouTube video the other day that they did that comparing UK's pizza sizes to the United States pizza sizes, and our large is just massive, calorie-wise too. I think it's like 500 calories per slice or something insane compared to theirs, which their large is like the size of what our small would be considered.
I would probably have an issue I would probably do research if I decided to go overseas again about how do you order a pizza in the UK versus the United States. I would have to. And now that I know this knowledge, I would definitely have to. People still use cash, was someone's answer.
What? That's a common thing.
People still use cash. I use cash a lot. I prefer cash. But apparently
cash is king to me, man. I prefer using cash over anything.
In other countries, I guess they just swipe the old debit card. Number 3, I've been to New Orleans, and everyone was calling me honey, sugar, babe, sunshine, and love. I found it very sweet. Right. I found it very sweet, and I blushed every time and couldn't get enough of it. On the other hand, the amount of ice that you put in your drinks is ridiculous.
That is true. That is true. I always, like, if I go to a fast food restaurant, I'll always ask for light ice or no ice, because that's how they rip you off.
Right. You fill the damn glass with ice, and they can put less of the product that they pay for. Not that they don't pay for water that makes ice.
Actually, I think the ice would be more expensive than the syrup, but that's just my opinion on it. Huh?
Speaking of ice, I don't know, is he here? There was a 24, here's another one. There was a 24-hour pharmacy across the street from the apartment. Nothing shocking there. Except that it also sold booze and cigarettes. What the actual fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I think, what was it, CVS or Walgreens? One of them quit selling cigarettes just recently.
CVS.
Yeah, they still sell alcohol though. But
Curry pizza. You know, I really like Indian food, but the curry
pizza sounds actually pretty damn good.
It does sound good, but the thing with curry to me, and this is me, curry to me smells like body odor. Am I wrong? I don't know. To me, curry smells like BO.
But you've been to Korea, right?
Yes. Well,
so, like,
everyone smelled like kimchi.
That's what I was about to say. Is like, I've heard so many people say that all the locals smell like kimchi, but they eat kimchi all the time. So I guess it's just the actual sweat. I guess
it was heavy in garlic. I think all the kimchi that was heavy in garlic it permeated through the pores. It came out in your sweat, and
I love it.
I don't like kimchi. I've tried several different times. I know that there's probably hundreds.
Oh,
it's not a thing for it. All it is like it's like pickled cabbage. It's all it is.
Well, I mean, there's different kinds of kimchi though. You got they've got little pickled jalapenos. The cucumbers are pretty good. The radishes, the Korean radishes, are really good.
Yes.
I mean,
okay.
I used to go to Annandale a lot up in DC area, and they call that Little Korea. And
in Virginia, Annandale.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I've got a soundbite talking about Annandale. It's like the shittiest place in America.
No, it's just not. No, I used to love to go to Korean karaoke bars up there because they give you individual rooms so you can bring your friends in.
Yeah.
So you don't have to hear like your drunk grandma singing her because it's her birthday. You could have your friends up in there. And I like it like that. You push a button, you order food, you order your drinks.
Okay. Dill pickle pizza ain't bad either, says Mr. Barlow. I've never.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you see my Pickle Rick skit a while back, but
there's a last Tuesday. Okay, on our CQ does a pop culture warrior, and he was talking about how much
really good show.
He didn't like pickles. It came up in conversation.
He also said he likes ding dongs, but we're not going to get with that.
I really like what you put together because I think we're of the same mind because all the clips that you pulled were the exact clips that I was going to pull, but you did it first.
I did that on my phone, just FYI.
You're a better man than I am. Do you have those handy?
Not on me at the moment. I got to transfer from the phone to the computer.
Got you. I didn't mean to put you
right now.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just like, it was like great. It was great because the CQ's. He's like, the first thing I want in the morning is a what the hell is it? An
icy ding dong.
An icy ding dong. The reason why he said that is because Hostess, the company Hostess, is coming out with iced latte flavored drinks, and there's snowballs. And different Hostess flavors, but they're coming out in lattes. One of those flavors is ding dongs. So who wouldn't want a icy ding dong?
Icy ding dong in the morning.
Exactly. It was very rich in rich in content. Okay, another person said how they were surprised. From visiting America, how cheap the food was.
That's true. I've heard that a lot. Especially with that video I was talking about the pizzas.
Yeah.
A large pizza in the UK is like our small pizza, but they pay the same price for a large pizza as we pay for a large pizza.
Say that again, but slower.
Their small pizza. Our small pizza is the same size as their large pizza.
Okay, I'll follow.
Okay, they pay the same price for their large pizza as we pay for our large pizza.
Okay, so the volume is equal as far as price goes. Is that?
Well, no, it's a lot different. It's like something like they're paying like something. They did the math on it.
Oh
it's like
no!
56
Oh, okay. So their large is actually our small, but they pay our large price for their small, and then the price slides to the left. So if they get a super double extra large, or in the UK, if you'd say a super double extra large, please, that they would be breaking the bank or need financing for a pizza.
Pretty much, they take a loan out for a extra large pizza.
Oh gosh. Okay, very welcoming people. They were surprised at the very welcoming people. Americans will invite you into their homes after knowing you for 5 minutes.
That is very true.
The bad, and they have a good, bad, and neutral. The good was very welcoming people. Americans will invite you into their homes after knowing you for 5 minutes. The bad is poverty and derelict infrastructure everywhere once you're off of the main streets.
Very true.
I do agree with that. Once you get off the main money-making thoroughfares of the city, whatever city you're in, it turns into garbage.
Yeah.
Everything, the neutral opinion was everything has to be gigantic, from buildings to cars to food portions to airports. Everything except spoons. Spoons are ridiculously small for some reason. I never noticed.
I would have never noticed.
I never noticed. I mean, we have you have your teaspoon and you have your soup spoon, which is proper to me.
There's two sizes. What are they eating with, ladles?
I don't know. When I was in Korea, I ate my soup with chopsticks. You eat your soup with chopsticks, and then you slurp the shit out of the whatever the sauce is. The toilet water is very high. Wiping was terrifying. I don't think I've crapped in a foreign toilet.
No,
I've never crapped downrange.
Public toilets in the States, for some reason, I cannot figure this out. Or I don't know if you've noticed, but they're shorter than what's at home. I got one of them throne chair toilets here at the house, where it's like you sit and you're on the throne like a king,
it cuts the circulation off your legs, so you need something more comfortable.
Yeah, but in public, the toilets seem like 3/4 shorter, like super close to the ground. I can never figure that out. No?
I'm against if it's anything other than urination, I'm leaving. I died. No, I don't.
Me, I don't care. I don't know. Maybe it was the tours in Iraq. After using porta johns for so long. And,
I can use a porta john, but I just crapping in public. Dude, that sucks. I feel safer crapping in a porta john than dropping a deuce at Olive Garden.
Yeah, because I was talking about earlier, the damn stalls are so unsecure. Like someone could a midget could fucking dive bomb you while you're just minding your own business. He even said that in Zombieland. The old boy was like, "Be careful when you go to the bathroom. This is the most dangerous time in Zombieland." Pretty much.
Oh, dude, you're right. My parents went to Houston on a business trip a couple of years back, and outside of the obvious things, they were really surprised not to have a water option for breakfast at their hotel, just soda. I mean, fruit juices were also available for breakfast, but that's standard. If you want to sweeten it a little, sure, but sodas, as in Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Fanta, and the like.
What kind of hotel were they at?
I have no idea. If I would like water, I just ask for water. I'm never beholden to whatever's on the menu.
Every continental breakfast I've been to, they've got those little 8-ounce bottled waters that you can grab for breakfast in the morning.
Yes, and I grabbed multiple of them.
Yes.
Tipping. This is definitely a thing. Tipping. I had zero clue about tipping or how to tip. and I got a lot of dirty looks during my first solo trip to the United States. I felt like shit after finding out. Over in the UK, I know over in the UK, you don't tip.
It's like that in New Zealand. If you tip in like Asian countries, from what I understand, Japan at least, that's an insult.
That is very foreign to me because if you do a good job, I'm tipping you. Whatever I order, if I sit in a restaurant, you're getting at least 20%.
Yeah, like a dude comes out to work on my AC unit or something like that, and he does a good, quick job and gets to working again. I can hand him a $100 bill. Thanks.
Hell yes.
Good job.
You do your job, but if you do your job well, I think you deserve a bit extra. I don't know. My family hosted a high school age foreign exchange student from Japan, and he had difficulty dealing with how informal student-teacher interactions were. He really hated the lack of classroom discipline and felt that teachers moved way too slowly in core subjects. He wrote us, and after he returned to Japan, he had to take supplemental courses to catch up.
I believe that.
Classmate. Yeah.
Totally believe that.
Japan.
Our education system compared to Japan's education system is like U.S. education system is a joke. And the formalities in Japan are a big thing. Like that's like I tried learning Japanese, and that's what threw me off is formalities. Like everyone has a certain. You got to say it. If you don't, it's disrespectful. But I never bothered to learn it. After I started getting into formalities, I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. Dude, too much for me.
I think that, and this is personal, this is my opinion, that I think that kids really should pay more attention. I think education ought to be revamped, and the government ought to get the fuck out of whatever the standard is. I think there ought to be...
Standardized testing is what ruined the education system in the United States. I will agree with you on that.
Again, my opinion. But I think that kids will fall. You know what Redleg used to say is you get in where you fit in. Not everybody's going to be a doctor. Not everyone's going to be an engineer. Not everyone's going to be a pilot. You get in where you fit in. Everyone has their own knack for education and the way and how in which they learn. But yeah, I think that if you leave the government has a standard for education, and someone set that standard. I have no idea who did that. But
probably something set back in the 50s or 60s and it's still chilling. Who knows?
Right? But how do you set a standard? I work with a lot of very talented people. The guy that I just sent away, he's from Bangladesh. He went out to start his own company here in the United States. He came here from Bangladesh as an intern, worked with us here in my aviation environment, and he's just like, okay, great. I've got a lot of great experience. Thank you very much. He's gonna make water heaters. Okay, great. Do
That's
your thing.
Very weird. Very very weird business idea.
It's a really weird tangent, but. Everyone from everywhere else, I guess in Korea, they go to school a lot, and it's more intense.
From what I understand, in Japan, they do school 6 days a week and all year round. They do like short breaks, like a spring break, a summer break. They're short. They're not.
Gotcha. I mean, go to school for 4 months, take a month off, go to school for another 4 months. We're pretty lax, but here in Texas, I can say I think Ohio was the same way. A lot more attention than is needed is paid towards sports. Here in Texas, especially, we have stadiums here for high school football that will rival any college.
That's revenue for the school, whatever.
Very much.
Because like I said, I grew up in Texas, a little town before I moved to Houston before joining the military. Mm-hmm. A little town in Texas. The biggest infrastructure in that small little town of 600 people was the high school football stadium.
Exactly.
And that was a big thing. Like that was like Friday night. Friday night, you go and watch the football game.
And that's all taken from real estate revenue. You own a house, you pay taxes, and that goes towards that high school football stadium. When I was in Ohio, which was only for a couple of years, I sat on bleachers. The home team sat on these bleachers. The visiting team sat on those bleachers. There was no fanfare. Really no fanfare at all. Here in Texas, it's like there's ticket takers, and it's like a stadium. To go to a high school stadium, high school.
I mean, they don't sell beer. That's about the only thing they don't do is they don't sell beer there. That's about it.
Very competitive in Korea, absolutely, and also in Japan. It's extremely competitive. It's dog eat dog.
What in a school? Are you talking about education system?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's very true. They hold education very high over there. Here people pride themselves on ignorance, and that's one thing I still can't figure it out.
What I would like to see is